Come through and we'll be good.
Okay.
You should get it this time.
I see the first attempt there.
Oh, just sitting there. You'll have to go and delete that. I don't think I'm logged in anywhere. Are you Quarter Dragon?
Yes.
You are in our chat now.
There we go.
We're in. Did you get a notification?
Of course not.
Okay. All right.
It's lagging behind.
I would say let's roll the intro, but our intro's really choppy, so we're not gonna roll the intro this time.
You gotta fix that.
I will just start this off when I get comfortable. Get this microphone closer to me. All right. Take these off. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Right,
yeah.
I'll switch the camera.
Let's do this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back on the Zero Intentions podcast live.
After a minute.
After a minute with me, Kyle, and Jeremiah. And I'll start off by saying, on behalf of everyone in this room, I apologize. Jeremiah did nothing while I was gone.
Here's the thing. I thought about it, but then I'm like, I could do something, but no, let's just wait.
Let's just wait.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's not Zero Intention podcast by myself. So yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But we will be back to a normal schedule this Friday.
Yes.
At around 7 or 8. It's usually
Something
when
like
we go.
Whenever I get here, which is usually late.
We shoot for 7 and it usually starts at 8:30. So
right.
That's our normal schedule.
Yep. You're like, yeah, why don't you get here at 7? And I'm like, 7:45 rolling in.
But I don't think it doesn't matter how early we've tried to start. I don't think we've started before 8.
Right. Yeah.
So I think our schedule on Twitch says 8 weekly.
Right.
So I apologize for anyone who tried tuning in last week.
Don't expect us to start exactly when we're supposed to. That's it's too high of expectations.
I mean,
not yet anyway.
If anyone complains, I will click the start stream button. You'll just be staring at a stream starting.
You know, and that's the thing. Like I've seen a lot of streams do that. I'm sitting around waiting for like 15 minutes.
Every stream I try and watch live.
Like, why did you tell me you're starting at this time at 2:00? And I'm sitting here and it's coming up on 2:30 and we haven't even started yet.
You know who did that? Was the I was at work and I went to the live stream of seeing the first picture of Black Hole.
Oh yeah.
Because they were rendering. You know, it took forever to render it, and then they were gonna put it. And I was at work and I told my bosses, I was like, look, I don't ever ask for this. This is really weird. There's this news thing I really want to watch. I won't have it on my computer. I'll have it on my desk, on my phone. But like if anything, comes in, it's just going to be about a 15-minute wait before I do it because I was really excited to see.
Yeah, it's a historical moment. So.
It was a letdown. The picture's not very cool, but it was still, I wanted to be there.
It's one of those things that, you hadn't seen that prior. So regardless of how, poor quality it was, it's
Shout out to that girl that did that, though.
Yeah.
That female scientist who obviously is a team, but she started putting it all together, and I can't imagine how much time. I could probably tell you if I looked it up, but it's crazy.
Yeah,
how much work went into that.
Exactly. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Like all these things that, with like black holes being, theoretical.
It's crazy how many people were close to theoretically what it would look like.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I heard they just put up another camera, or they're sending another camera up that's supposed to be so much more powerful than the Hubble. And that will actually have even better photos now.
So there was, I don't remember which telescope it was, but there was a few years ago, well, more than a few years ago now, when I was at South by Southwest, they actually had like a replica
of the new one?
Of it outside of the convention center. Yeah.
Was it the Hubble?
So I don't know what it was, but it was impressive regardless. I mean, it was like, wow, this is
the
really
Hubble's
cool to see.
On the space station, or is that here?
That's a good question. I think it's a satellite. So
I think so
I want
to
say so.
And the new one is also going to be a satellite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know who has the best telescopes on land?
Currently, no. I mean, I know that there was, someone like South America that were.
Yes, that
really
one.
Good, so.
But the best one still, even when they had that one, the Catholic Church has them.
Oh yeah.
Which is crazy.
Well, they've got the money, so.
It's a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, it's the church, but they also want to know what's out there.
Sure.
So
there's
and there 2 or 3. It's in a book upstairs. There are 2 or 3 main ones are pointed right over the airspace that would be California, where the most UFO sightings are, because of course they're they want to look into that.
Yeah.
They also have, I don't remember the full specs, but I don't think it's in the Bible, but there was an account of 3 angels visiting a village, and that we only know publicly the first 2 messages that the first 2 angels gave, and it was like, one was like, don't be afraid, 2 was like, you're not alone, and then they never ever said what the third one was. And they're like, well, some people were saying,
It's funny because there is a lot of, anytime that there is, mention of, angels in the Bible, that's what they open with is, the be not afraid,
yeah.
which is interesting because like, we always picture, angels as, just, glowing,
beings
white
or,
robes and, like kind of wings and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
but,
you're talking the some of the pictures that you could see of the crazy looking ones.
Biblically accurate. Yeah. It's like, they're like, eyes with wheels on them.
Feathered
It's
wings.
like the way that it's described in I think it's Job or something like
There's
that.
There's a few different descriptions, right, of what they look like. Like I know which one you're talking about.
Well,
there's
different kinds
yeah.
is a thing. So, and different hierarchies. So, like cherubim, seraphim, that kind of stuff. And they have different functions. So,
my craziest thing in the Bible is still the Nephilim.
Yes,
which no one has an answer for.
Crazy.
They were
crazy
there.
Stuff.
Them and the giants are supposedly the only ones that survived the flood, and the Nephilim is that of which it's from the child of man and that of which is not of earth, which is a very weird description.
The way that it's written is like basically like the sons of God, like procreated with the daughters of men. So,
see, I've heard that, but when I looked it up and when I talked to a pastor, it was a different pastor, not my pastor, but it's weird because it was that of which is not of earth was like the direct translation.
Yeah.
Which is weird because in the Bible they usually just say angel, or God, angel, but when you say that of what's not of earth, that's so really weird, and I think it's the only spot that phrase appears in the Bible, which is strange because the Nephilim could easily be a different species and
Absolutely.
man,
right?
And then another crazy fact I like telling people, because I've gone through being religious, being skeptical through every religion I've studied, which is a bunch now, all in a few books. Everyone says the Great Flood was in the same time period, and
right, yeah.
And I'm not saying it flooded the whole earth, because I think that's what they tell you in like Sunday school, for kids. They just
as far as like civilization at the time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It's
the
probably
entire known civilization,
not the whole earth. And we've proven.
Well, there's no way to tell, is because there was no civilization around the globe to verify that. So it was just every single civilization that has a record of it. They all agree that it happened. So
it's in every religion. It's happened. Scientists have proven it.
Right.
Scientists have proven an ark was built around that time. I'm still really skeptical of one of each animal on the ark. I don't know if that's
my theory on that has to do with species diversity, in that if every animal can be traced back to a common ancestor.
You think one of each of them?
Absolutely possible, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
I think there's a lot in the Bible that says it and we're taking it for fact. Like saying 2 of each animal could easily just be like saying an easier way than saying like we preserved or some survived. It's just easier to say.
And that is true. There could have been, so many other species that existed pre-flood that,
don't. And there could have been areas in the earth that, of course, because no one was there, that already existed. That's why we still have them.
Right.
And that didn't flood. Or they didn't know, so they're like, well, we'll just say that he brought 2 of each animal. So we're getting way into religion, aliens. Let's snap off that. Let me talk about the one thing I do want to talk about. Hawaii. Hawaii is where I was for everyone. That's why we were missing.
There you go. There's the reveal.
So I'll bring it up just because on here. So I vape on here, smoke cigars, which have been one of our streams. It's not a
we haven't done that in a minute though, but yeah.
It's getting winter again, so we're gonna start doing it. Apparently, it's been a busy summer,
right?
That we haven't had time to get to this summer. Last summer we were smoking cigars all the time,
right? Yeah,
or maybe spring.
Yeah,
we'll get back to it. But what I want to say is, there's such a high smoking population over there, and I don't know if that's because There's a lot of Asian population just because it's easy for them to travel because it's like halfway across the earth for us and them.
Right.
Their vaping selection over there is horrible.
Oh, yeah?
I think the whole time I was there, I saw one main brand and one off brand, which is crazy. And
Just not into it, huh? Just like
maybe because it competes.
because there's nothing. Well, yeah, you know. The only reason I'm convinced vaping is so big here is because, you know, smoking is not. So
yeah, so it could be.
You know, we gotta, you know, put that, you know, negative social stigma against smoking. So, you know, vaping is, you know, a better alternative.
It is better.
So
alternative.
Comparing, yeah, exactly.
Yes,
yeah.
alternative.
You know, if you're gonna do anything, yeah.
I wrote a huge research paper on it. I do not believe vaping will help you quit smoking.
Right.
There's no evidence that proves that.
Sure.
Healthier alternative, still not healthy, healthier alternative, but from all the studies I did and even me, from when nicotine use, you know, from vaping or cigars, you're going to vape where you can't smoke.
Right.
For smokers, that's what they're going to do. They're going to do it in their house, in their car.
Yeah.
And when they're outside, they're still going to smoke cigarettes. It's not going to cut down. And in some cases, it's going to increase.
Yeah. Well, I know people that do both.
So nowadays, everyone's on, you know, disposables. But
Right.
back when I wrote this is when vaping was more of a niche thing where there's so many juices. You're doing your own flavoring.
Right. Building your own coils and all that kind
that
of
was,
stuff.
you had anywhere between 0 and, I don't know, 0% nicotine and 15 or 30.
Wow.
Nowadays, vapes come with just 5
Yeah.
is usually what it is. So back then, you could have this high percentage you're vaping, which is actually more than cigarettes. So you're really going to be becoming faster addicted.
Right.
So it is, in my opinion, if you smoke and you want to quit, do not switch to vaping. I do not think that's going to help you. Same with gum. My dad was addicted to Nicorette gum for a very long time after he quit smoking. Healthier to chew the gum, but it's not helping you quit nicotine. I mean, you are still on nicotine. So if you want to...
I wonder if it would be, you know, more successful if you did, like, if you went from, like, you know, decreasing your nicotine.
So
you
yes.
know, so like if you went from, like, if you're smoking, like, you know, full flavor or, you know, whatever, however much nicotine is that, to lights, to, you know, one of the whatever the Hollywood uses for, you know, no nicotine.
Yeah.
You know, so you're still getting, you know, the motion that your body's
That's
used
what it
to.
is. That's the biggest
but
thing.
you're weaning your
quitting.
body off of the nicotine.
I think if you ditch cigarettes completely, switch to vape, and then you lower yourself down by percentages, absolutely will work. But I think many smokers, they don't want to quit. They're half-ass trying, and they're going to do the vaping and smoking at the same time. Yeah. It's a commitment thing.
Right.
So.
I mean, every smoker I've known has said, "Oh, I'm trying to quit."
Yeah.
It's like, well, okay, you either are or you aren't. So, you know, don't say you're trying if you're just gonna, like, I'm not really.
Nicotine's, I still think it's fantastic, and there's multiple ways you can hookah, cigars, cigarettes, the gum, the vaping, and I think there's levels of addiction. I think even if I've got neighbors that smoke cigars on the weekends, you're still addicted because you're waiting for that weekend cigar. Like, you know that's your calm down time. Same for beer or even caffeine is very addictive. Everyone's like, I need my morning coffee every morning.
I need a cup of coffee every day.
See?
Yes. Yeah.
But anyway, let's circle back. So yes, I bought a vape in Hawaii.
Okay.
I didn't bring any here. I use it a lot less there just because you're out doing stuff. You don't need a vape. But I got it because it was a hectic flight and everything. And then getting a rental car was stressful. So I got it. It tastes like shit. Horrible airflow. It was better.
You got the main brand?
Yeah, I got the main brand. It's nicer packaged. So this is all plastic. Basically, this seems like China made. I think this brand is actually made in Michigan. The parts are probably imported from, you know, wherever. Theirs were a very hard plastic, and the air pieces and mouthpieces were steel.
Huh.
So very high quality for something that's disposable. But yet the flavoring and the nicotine amount and everything was just very rough. It seemed like where we were 10 years ago with vaping, where not many people do it, and you're just using high quality materials, and which looks good. I mean, someone might buy it, they're like, oh, it's durable, but it's shit tasting. Here we've moved on to the cheapest thing possible, but the highest quality, which is what you should care about, what you're putting in your body. You should, ingredient wise, and you want the metal on the inside, the battery to be safe. That's what you should care
and
about.
that was the biggest, like, push against
vaping
at first was like, you don't know what's in that. You don't know what's in the juice that you're putting
and a lot of those, because I did a safety one too. I did a lot of in college on vaping and weed, marijuana, because those were very controversial things, and I wanted to get to the bottom of truth, whether it be it is what they say or it isn't, because to me I didn't care. Are we
being told the truth or not? Yeah.
And for those main articles, when it first started coming out that vaping was bad, their testing subjects were things they were pulling from like off-market brands or from China.
Sure, and you do that with any product, and you'd be like, of course this is dangerous.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, the majority then of people were vaping, like you said, you're building your own coils, very neat. A lot of people were making their own juice, which was a food flavoring, liquid nicotine, propylene glycol. That was it. You were mixing it, so you know all those ingredients. And yet the results they're running are these things that were bought from China, and they're like, well, look at the antifreeze and stuff, and you're like, yeah, but people aren't buying disposables then. Like, they were making it themselves, and there's lots of studies on that juice. It's very safe, minus the nicotine.
Right.
I mean, propylene glycol is what they use in incubators for babies.
It's interesting because that actually, extends to the pro argument for legalizing marijuana. In that is the regulation. So you go from just some random dude who grows it,
pesticides on it,
who knows what conditions,
what soil, what water,
to regulated, all that kind of stuff.
That was my final project at Grand Valley University, was on the legalization of marijuana, and not smoking marijuana myself. It just seems a no-brainer. It's going to bring in a ton of money to the people who own the companies.
That's my perspective too. I have no interest in it myself, but I'm like, hey, if you're looking for ways to squeeze more money out of the people, just make that legal and tax that.
And it's safer. And they were saying, more people are going to be doing it and selling it. One, I think those people that are writing the laws underestimate how hard it is to grow. This isn't like
here's the thing.
Throw some seeds.
People
in your
that
backyard.
write laws know nothing about whatever they're writing the law for.
Yeah, you can't just throw seeds in your
backyard. All they know is who's paying me and how to vote. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, the dealer that's growing it in his basement or whatever in moldy conditions and all this, those aren't the people that are selling it. The people that are selling it, the people I've met, are very professional. They care a lot about it's a craft to them, like beer makers. They take a lot of time and pride in the plant they're growing, and they're constantly babying it, making sure to put all natural chemicals. And I think if it was legalized fully, that's what you'd get. You'd get huge companies or small artesian companies, and it'd be like a Bud Light if you want just the cheap weed, or you go to a brewery, a craft who's a guy who's like, I have 100 plants, and it's me and my team of 5, and this is all we do.
That's me and coffee. Like, I love small batch coffee, the ones that are like really intentionally grown and roasted. And
now imagine if coffee was illegal, you'd have the same thing. You'd have some really shoddy beans that you don't know how they're grown should you drink it. And I think that's what a lot of people do with drug dealers. You find one person and that's it, because you can trust them as much as you can. And if it was fully legalized, you would be able to go to stores that have regulations and you're paying taxes. It'd be much safer for everyone involved. That goes for all drugs.
Right.
And look at other countries that have heroin facilities. You can go twice a day or whatever you're prescribed to get your heroin. That way you don't die or get sick. And you're having nurses administer it to you in a safe spot,
right?
And they know
go
what's
back
in
to
it.
Opium dens. There you
go. I don't know if those were very safe, but
right.
But when it's not illegal, there's a lot more. You don't have to hide it. There's a lot more care. You can have professionals involved.
Right.
I think for a while, marijuana couldn't even be studied for medical properties because it's federally illegal.
Yeah.
So they're like, trust me, this plant has no uses.
None whatsoever.
And I don't know, and they're like, you can't study it because it's illegal. I don't know any plant that doesn't have at least a use, for something,
if not multiple. I mean, here's the thing. I'm convinced that, you could pick any plant and study it, and that plant exclusively, and find, any number of uses. I mean, like George Washington Carver did it with the peanut plant.
Oh yeah,
all of the things that he learned how to do with this one plant. Yeah, that's all they focused on was one plant.
If you go back to the Native Americans before everything was modernized, I mean, they were using plants in multiple different ways.
Yeah.
If you just look at hemp, which is basically the weed plant without THC, CBD, that has huge things.
Right.
The fiber.
I know a
in
lot of
hemp.
people that use it for, like, anti-seizures, or if
That
their
was the
kids
big
have,
thing.
have issues. And
Before you could use
so,
CBD, and people were like, weed is the only thing that helps my child stop having seizures.
yeah,
And it was crazy to watch a child that can barely move or function, and they have to go to a farmer in California and illegally buy
right,
weed. But when people heard weed, they thought the kid was getting high. No, these
right,
farmers back then knew how to just use hemp, because
right.
hemp doesn't have THC or very low,
Mm-hmm.
so your kid's not getting high. But you could see them take it, not smoke it. Just take the pill or the liquid, and that kid would stop shaking within minutes.
Right.
Life changing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's other plants that do it, but
Yeah.
if we can't
I
study
think
these things,
it's funny because that actually extends to the argument between like traditional medicine, or like actually like modern medicine versus like natural medicine, and the argument that like, well, all of natural medicine is bunkum because we have modern medicine.
alternative medicine. That's what
All
they
the
call
modern medicine is based off of how natural medicine works.
it. Yeah.
So all you're getting with the modern medicine is just higher concentrations of whatever this
Or synthetic.
this does.
Completely.
Yes, or synthetic.
Opiates, 100% from a plant.
Yeah.
And then fentanyl is they made for not to take on the street. They made it for surgeries and stuff.
Right.
Fentanyl is just a synthesized opiate that's extremely strong.
Yes.
That
right.
we 100 based on opiates, which is a natural medicine.
Exactly. Yep. Grows out of the ground. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Grows right in my backyard.
Exactly.
Don't come looking.
Got a whole poppy field back there. Come on.
I saw it. There was a poppy field. Where was I on vacation? There was a poppy field.
Yeah.
And it was just weird to me to see like these poppies growing, and it's like, that's just heroin waiting right there. Just sitting right there. Same with cocaine in most, tropical countries. I mean, the coca plant
Yeah. Right.
is like all.
Which did you ever watch that Gordon Ramsay did a little like interview with people how they make cocaine?
No.
It's insane.
How much work goes into it?
Yeah, they're pouring gasoline on it and cutting it and like walking all over it and just pouring like some kind of like I don't know if it was like lime or some kind of powder, and it's like the processing portion of it is like using all these like crazy like caustic chemicals
the way
to extract the cocaine.
the way to do it would be to not use gasoline. That's obviously the cheap way, because what you want is the alcohol, or butane works really well because you want a chemical that can leach to it, take it out, and then fully evaporate. Gasoline is not a good chemical. It's not very pure, so when it all evaporates away, it's going to leave residue, and that's going to be in your cocaine, so that's bad. But if you took the plant, mushed it all up, mixed it with butane, that's what a lot of people use in the weed industry to get the THC out. The butane will run through it, grab the chemical you want, and then fully, dissipate away and only leave what you want. Whereas gasoline, if you've ever spilled gasoline and cleaned it up, it's still there.
Yes.
I'm sure they do it that way.
I've known some people that have bathed in gasoline.
Really?
Like every time I see them, it's like I know they're coming before I ever see them. Yeah.
Yes. So you don't. And I'm sure the purity now. I watched a lot of the movies based on the drug runners in the 80s. That cocaine is crazy pure.
Yeah.
But because it's so illegal now, they do as much as they can to improve the profit. They're cutting it with everything.
Right.
And I watched a documentary a few years ago on Netflix about drugs. There was a company that went out and would test drugs at concerts for you to let you know if you had what you had and what the purity level was. And it was only like 20% of people had the drugs that they thought they had.
Really?
They're like, oh, this is my LSD. Test this.
I don't know if they actually like developed this, but there was some, group of college students that developed nail polish.
Yes.
That
they
changed
did.
different colors based
to see if
on
your drink was spiked or
what
whatever.
drug it is. Yeah. Well, there was that. Like that was that first step. Like, is your drink spiked? And then the second step was, what kind of drug is this?
See, you could do it. The cops have the field test kits. You can watch it on cops. So, and I think in the concert venues and law enforcement let these people test it. And I think that's one good step, right? Let the people that have drugs at least test it.
Sure.
And destroy it if it's not what it is.
Right. Yeah.
But the purity levels of cocaine were.
I think of Pulp Fiction, where Uma Thurman's character thinks it's cocaine and it's heroin.
Yeah.
And so she's snorting it like it's cocaine.
And a lot of people did snort heroin.
Yeah.
I've talked to a few older parents they used to smoke hash, which is really shitty weed, basically all, carboned out.
Mm-hmm.
But they would smoke heroin on accident because when it's illegal, you're just sold a black fibery substance that you're like, oh, this is weed, oh, this is heroin. And back then it was all cheap, so dealers didn't care what they were giving you. Yeah, you don't know. You don't know what you're smoking.
Right.
That's what's crazy about the illegal drug market.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
These people that die of fentanyl overdoses are not taking fentanyl. Their drugs are being cut with it, and they don't know. That's what's killing them.
Yeah. Yeah, there was, I think it was a House episode where, they were trying to test and see if the drugs this person had taken were laced with something, that's killing them. And so, 13's character goes to, buy some drugs and, get some. And she's like, no, I want the stuff that's been stepped on, I need the regular stuff, not the good stuff you give your first time customers. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But, yeah. So that's we can get off the drug talk. That all.
Yeah, I know. There you
crazy.
go. There's a long little segment on drugs.
Stemmed from a Hawaii trip for nicotine. Yeah.
Don't even do drugs, but it's fascinating.
It is the whole concept of it. Anything illegal.
Sure.
I mean, you could go back to the bootlegging days. I mean, alcohol now is not interesting, but looking at when it was illegal, the stuff that was done for alcohol is crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're never gonna. The way I heard, I forget what comedian said it, or even if it was even a comedian, prohibition doesn't work, and we have proof of it. That's because, do you know what the first prohibition was? Do you?
The first prohibition?
Yeah.
The other one I know was alcohol.
Oh, so the first one ever was the apple of knowledge.
Oh.
That's the first one.
Huh, yeah.
You don't eat that. That's the one rule.
Right.
There was only two people. That couldn't do it, the one law,
right.
And the enforcer was God. And what happened? They ate the apple.
Right. Yeah.
Now, if God had said,
I get that.
If he never said don't eat the apple.
I just had this conversation today. I'm like, no one tells me what to do, not even my own body. Because it was funny. I was talking with my mom and saying, and I was telling her like, I've gone through so many pairs of socks this week because my feet have been cold. She's like, oh, you must be getting older because your feet are cold and poor circulation. And took my socks off. Like, nobody tells me what to do, not even my own body.
Have you ever had like when your feet are so cold that it feels like wearing socks is keeping them colder?
Yeah.
Like you want to have them off so you can get like heat into them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird one.
Right.
Sometimes when I'm driving, my feet get that way. Like it feels like they're so cold. My whole body is hot, and I'm like, I just want to take my foot and put it in the vent to warm it up.
Yeah, that's what I miss about having a jacuzzi is when the middle of winter you're freezing, getting there right before bed.
Oh yeah. It's fantastic. The best. Jacuzzi in the winter is the best feeling.
It is.
I love the top half of your body freezing, and then you can just dunk it back in and then let it get cold again. Oh, it's the best feeling.
Right? Yep.
Where your hair's like frozen.
Yeah.
And you can run more water through it. I just talked to your brother. We stopped at his new house for a second when we were on our way back from groceries.
Yeah.
And they could definitely put a jacuzzi there.
Yeah.
Just because when they don't have a huge. Did you go there?
I haven't yet. No.
So they have they have a deck that's really small. It's like the size of my front porch. But a lot of flat next to the house. So you could easily pour a concrete pad or put, wood down to put a hot tub on top of, which is nice. I don't have the option here. I have a giant deck in the back that's 3 foot off the ground, and it would be impossible to reinforce that. You'd have to pay some ridiculous money to have someone crawl in there, slowly dig down, and put more braces in. It's just not worth it.
Right.
I would rather have no deck so you could build yourself or put a concrete pad down. I don't want it to turn into like your dad's house. Start sagging really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. That concerns me. I don't get it in anymore for that reason.
It's not there anymore.
Oh, yeah?
You didn't know that?
No. I haven't been there forever.
Last 6 months. It broke.
I haven't been there in 6 months? Holy cow.
Yeah, it broke, and they just, I guess, your dad money-wise, and if you're going to replace it, you might as well fix the deck, too, while you're at it, because it's been empty. So that's what I worry, because like you said, it feels great. I mean, your dad used it 2-3 times a day.
Right.
I mean, hard work on an old body, you need something to relax those muscles and joints. So
right.
I wish he would sell the house, but
I know. Yeah, I've talked to him numerous times about that, but it's a conversation that goes nowhere.
It was close at one point.
It was, yeah.
I think
but
a lot
he
of
was, he was just, agreeing, and just because, that's the way the conversation was going. But you could tell he's like not into it.
I think it's harder now, especially with your brother living there. It's like you feel like you're dependent on someone,
right? Which
your brother could easily be fine with. I mean, it's great that he has it now, but if your dad had to get rid of it, your brother would be fine. But I've got 2 other friends with their parents that have too much work at their house to do.
Yeah.
And it's they're on their own now, and it's hard.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That house is far too big.
The property itself, mowing the lawn's a 2-day job.
Yeah.
If you spend a ton of time on it.
Right.
I mean, I've been over there while your dad or your brother's mowing, and it's a huge process.
Right.
And that's just a livable area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 10 acres, and it's probably only an acre
exactly.
of mowing.
I used to break it up, over several days when I was, a kid. So working there. So it's like I would just section it off, be like, I'm doing this section a day, this section tomorrow, and finish it off a third day. So
Nick used to do that with his property. He'd do like the back and then the front, and he bought a 0-turn, which he'll probably take when he moves out of his mom's house. But she's one of the ones that just has too much work to do, so he has to do a lot of it. That's hard on both of them. It's like half of his time is spent taking care of the house.
Right.
Half of his mom's time. He got a 0-turn, can do it in one day now, just because it's so fast and you're not constantly.
Yeah.
So your dad
I used to be terrible at mowing because I'd crank it up all the way.
Just go fast.
Vroom, here I go.
What I do. I got a tiny yard. I want to ride anything. So.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's like there weren't a lot of trees, most of it. So you're just cutting just lawn, like tons of lawn, and it's like, oh, this is gonna take forever. So, all right, full speed.
I would full speed at my mom's old house, and I would do. I know everyone likes to do lines and stuff, man. I would just do the perimeter and just slowly get smaller.
I know. Yep.
Because I don't care.
That was me too. Yep.
I don't care what it looks like.
No one's gonna look at it. Yep. I just gotta get it cut.
With the pushing, I do the lines just because it's easier than doing the perimeter. That's like.
Right.
It's like a printer. I'm like slowly knocking it off. But if I had a riding mower here, man, I'd be going back to circles. I don't care. What do I care? My lawn doesn't need lines.
Right. Yep. Your neighbors be like, oh, your lawn.
If my lawn was nice, there's some people in this neighborhood that have beautiful lawns. And like you look at it and it's lush. And when you look at the sidewalk, they have like this much dirt and then the grass.
Yeah.
Mine is like, it's like they just threw seed down. So I don't care.
Right.
Like if it was nice to begin with, I'd keep it that
Here's
lush.
Here's the thing. You
nice.
want a beautiful lawn. There's a lot of uptake.
Money too.
Yeah,
you need
upkeep to it. Yeah. Exactly.
So here I've just been throwing seed down, and I even threw a clover mix, just because clover's green too, and it's really good for the. It's not beautiful to walk on and stuff.
Sure.
But it's good for the environment.
Yeah.
When the yelling upstairs, when the dandelions come in, I left them for an extra 2 weeks because I had read that it's really good for the bees at the beginning of spring.
Yeah.
Like if you knock them all down, it's really hard for bugs to pollinate.
Yes.
And everyone here, so I even left a patch in the backyard full time just of wild, because if you constantly only have grass, you're killing the ecosystem.
Right.
I mean, rabbits, squirrels, bugs, they need those wild plants.
Right.
And in areas like we live, there's not a lot of wild plants. Everyone's trying to domesticate everything. And it's a lot easier to take care of a lawn when you let nature take care of
what
the
was
lawn.
really cool in Texas was the wild flowers there, like bluebells and that kind of stuff. They just grow along the side of the highway. I mean, it's beautiful.
So I did
during a certain time.
I did that when my neighbor killed the grass. I took a couple boxes of wildflower mix.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you're gonna kill my grass. I'm just gonna throw down these weeds basically, because they grow through anything and it will look nice. I've got a patch next to the deck that was empty. It was barren. I don't know what before we bought what they had there. And grass wasn't really taking because it was rough. So I literally, roughed it up with a hoe and just put any seed I can find, clover, grass, wildflower, and that grew. And once that grows, then you can transform it back to grass. But yeah, those flowers look nice. I've got, when I planted those trees, I dug the hole and then filled the planter that the tree came in. And I just saved all the planters behind my shed. Each one of them have grown a different plant.
Really?
Yeah, big plants. Big one grew blueberries. Just random dirt. I didn't plant it. I just literally dug it out of the ground and threw it there. And I don't know, if a bird pooped in, on the planter or a bug flew. Yeah, just it grew actual plants and flowers. It's crazy how nature will do that.
Right.
Just put dirt in a bucket and leave it behind a shed, and it will grow something.
Yep. Someone's gonna win. Let's find it. Used to watch these like little animated stories. They weren't animated. They were like kind of like just drawings that were had like a Ken Burns effect kind of on it, and then a narrator, and they were called like parables of nature or something like that. And one of them was about like like seeds and weeds and that kind of stuff, So, but basically like plants trying to grow and getting choked out and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's a lot to know with growing stuff.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
something's gonna win.
Right.
Or sometimes nothing when the weeds just take over.
Yep.
So we're getting some serious frame drops. I apologize. Yeah. And also, no one's in our chat right now. It's really making me mad. We got no viewers because we're off schedule.
Exactly.
Maybe the few people that watch
right.
just happen to know it's Fridays.
Yep.
Sunday night's
so
not
we'll be there on Friday though. But this is a special makeup episode.
Yeah, we got some more time for anyone that's gonna watch this one. Don't think we're ending it now. But yeah, we're sitting around 24 frames right now, but we're occasionally dropping to the 22. And for those of you who have watched all of our videos now, you've seen upgrades in the
right?
studio. We are.
Yeah, I think we probably should just drop it down in resolution a little bit just to kind of fix that. I think that would.
I think our speech. Have you watched it?
I have. Yes.
I think our cameras look fine. Do you?
They do. Yes, but as far as like we're trying to stream, a higher resolution, so it requires more.
But I don't think it's that bad. I think we don't have to drop it down. Do you think we should? I think it looks fine, other than the intros.
All I'm really concerned about is audio.
And I think the audio sounds great.
Yeah. I mean,
well, let's get into.
No one's getting on here to look at my mug anyway. So, yeah, doesn't matter.
I just realized that's not our frame rates dropping.
Yeah.
It's got CPU, frame rate, and then a green box that sometimes goes orange and red. It just went red, but we're at 28 frames per second. So I don't know what that box is representing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's the kilobytes a second for something. Red.
Yeah.
2,000 of them, and then sometimes it drops to 700, and that's what's going red. Don't know what it is though.
Oh, okay.
Might be the ping. It might be the.
That would be reverse, but.
The higher would. Oh yeah, higher would be worse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Let's float over it. It's not telling me. And actually, no, 1200 was red and 700 was orange. The box has got to be completely unrelated to that. I have no idea what the box is based on. Anyway, I do want to get us a better camera. Right now we're using a phone. Ideally, what would you like as the camera?
Oh, I mean, we have to look at. I know a lot of people that use DSLRs, but they're very expensive to just use that as a camera. So we've talked about, like I've considered upgrading my camera and buying a new one.
Yeah.
But it's a possibility. I'll have to look into that. So.
Do we think a GoPro would be better?
You could, yeah. GoPro would work. So the only thing about a GoPro is, and we kind of have it with this one, because we're sitting on the edges, like it does like distort,
GoPros are fisheye.
So GoPro would be even worse. So, we do look a little weird, sitting on the edges of the screen.
It also doesn't help that we're at like angles.
Right.
As it's angling out.
Yeah.
That's true. A DSLR. Do you think it would have a wide enough frame of view?
It depends what lens you put on it.
Okay. Because I was going to say, we're in a small room, so you would need a wide. I think in this particular room, we're going to have that distortion either way.
Right.
Unless we're sitting right up on each other.
Yeah.
And I think aesthetically, that's less pleasing.
You like people facing each other for a conversation, not sitting next to each other. And we're not really talking to the camera because no one's talking back to us. So.
Yeah, I would. Actually, even if people were in the stream, I don't think I'd look at the camera. The only way I'd look at the camera is if we weren't using our light to hold the camera, then we could have the light off to the side and have the chat on the screen with the camera in front of it.
Right.
That way when you're reading the chat, you're looking at the audience.
Yeah.
I think that would be the only good way to do that. Future things.
Right? Yeah.
We need to get more clickbaity on our YouTubes, though. Maybe we should discuss that after this. I just watched an interview with Mr. Beast. I was telling you about this last week. And He was saying that the thumbnail is the biggest thing that a lot of YouTubers fail on, just because that's what's getting people to click on.
There's another thing I meant to do.
The thumbnails?
Yeah, I haven't done yet. Yeah.
The other thing was viewer retention. He said that anything under 80% was not acceptable for a video.
Wow.
Because he wants you to watch the whole video.
Yeah.
Because if you're losing them before then clearly your video's not good.
Right.
And what I really like watching his videos, but what I really like is him as a person. Many people have asked, like, how much money are you trying to make? And he's like, I just want to make the best videos possible. Yeah. That's all I've ever wanted to do. I just want to entertain. He's like, I don't care about the money. I don't care about the viewerships. He's like, if I'm making the best video I can, there's one person watching it, I would have been happy. He's like, I would have had another job too, but he's like, that is what I care about. I don't want to put out quality or quantity every day. Right. And not be good. He's like, I want to make good videos. That's what I care about. Yeah. And I guess Netflix has turned him down multiple times.
Netflix has turned him down?
He's asked, which is crazy because his viewership on YouTube is massive.
I think, even Netflix, like they don't understand YouTube. They don't understand. That's what he said. Yeah.
They don't see it as a media or as Hollywood.
Yeah. Some people do, which is kind of sad because it does mean YouTube is changing. Yes. But because they're like, oh, well, YouTube works, so let's change YouTube to be more like the properties that we understand. It's like it's with anything else. You're taking something that works and then changing it so it doesn't work anymore. So if you want something, all these companies that buy other companies, as soon as they get it, they're like, all right, we're going to run it the way we want to run it. And it's like, you just wasted all that money because, you take something that worked a certain way and you wanted to buy it because it's making a lot of money or it's a lot of attention on it. And then because of you broke it.
Yes. I'm going to tell you a crazy fact here. This is the viewership records from Netflix for, when was this put out? October 2021. Mm-hmm. Their top 10 films, number 1 is Extraction. I've never seen the film. 99 million accounts have watched it. The number 10 is Fatherhood.
That's the Extraction was the Chris Hemsworth
maybe
one, right?
It could be. That was a good movie if it's the Chris Hemsworth one. But number 10 is Fatherhood with 74 million viewers. That's what they have. They expect, because they do future reporting, that Extraction will get 231, but you never know. So right now, it is 99 million. Mr. Beast put out a video one day ago, yesterday, 15 million views. That's a 15-minute long video. Yeah. And Netflix is going to say no to I mean, that's crazy. Their highest is 99 million. I don't know what Mr. Beast's highest is.
To be honest, though, that's the thing. It's like, the format might work on YouTube, but it might not work on Netflix. So, like, we would want it, but we don't know how to make it work for Netflix.
Even if you just gave them the 15-minute clips, that's, even if you just did a series on Netflix. Because if you go to 1 year ago, which is about when their top 10 lists were out, he's got 146 million, 141, 133, 132, 131, 128. Right. It's like you're hitting higher viewership numbers. Right. Yeah. And this is.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's like we're talking about people that are on YouTube. Like, there's been multiple streamers who have moved off platform to other platforms.
That's true.
And don't retain the same, viewership. It's because the audience is different.
You're right.
So the audience doesn't follow the creator. So.
Which is weird because in radio they do.
Right.
When you look at Joe Rogan lost a lot, but I don't think that's because he switched platforms. I think it's mainly how he's become. Because I've stopped watching him completely, and I used to watch him almost religiously. So he did it. I know Bubba the Love Sponge, Howard Stern, Ryan Seacrest, all of them went from terrestrial to satellite. And Howard specifically is who saved satellite. I mean, they got their viewers because people love the person. Right. It's weird that internet shows and streamers Ninja left and didn't retain. It's weird. With, I think it's electronic age. A lot of people don't follow the show. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I would not have followed Stargate. It left Netflix and went to Hulu or something like that. And if it had left to a platform I didn't have, I wouldn't have followed it. Yeah.
I mean, that's what it comes down to, really. I was going to say, it's like, it's not even enough if it were free. It's having to create a new account in order to follow something.
Or if you already have it, yeah.
I mean, just that step of having to create a free account or change my behavior to go to a different site.
If it's not all in one,
Yeah,
too.
it's just it's that barrier to entry is hard to.
I think
retain your
specifically
viewership.
for streamers, video games, podcasts, anything, Twitch is the number one. Right? I know how to use Twitch. I use Twitch. When Ninja switches off of Twitch, I'm only and I wasn't watching Ninja, but I'm only browsing games on Twitch that I want to watch. So if you're on another platform, I'm not going to go there and search for you.
Right.
Like I'm looking to look at gameplay of Final Fantasy or whatever the game may be. You're looking on Twitch for that.
Right.
But let me segue this because I promised we would. Mr. Beast is putting together a real Squid Game.
I heard that people were talking about that. Yeah, I saw a picture of him if he gets had some sort of number of retweets or likes or something like that or subscribers.
So he's doing it, and the cost that he was up to the last time I heard him speak was $500 million.
Wow.
To build, because they're doing full scale sets.
To build it.
To build it.
$500 million to build it. Yeah. Interesting, huh?
And giving away, he said it on his last video, I think the prize is $470,000. Because what did they win in the show? $47 million?
It would be million, yeah.
And I think they took a zero off that.
Okay.
And made it so if it was 47.8 million, I think he's doing 470,800. That's how much you get if you win. And I forget, he's doing 100 random subscribers. 100 people that buy his t-shirt randomly, and then random subscribers, and then probably other YouTube personalities. Because of course he spends a bunch on the videos, but when you're in the $500 million, you're gonna have to bring in some other high tier people to make that.
Yeah, you got people to tune in and watch, all their audiences. Yeah.
So that's what he does for the big ones. Usually brings a couple other YouTubers.
Yeah.
Because I calculated how much he's given away this year, 2021 so far. Because Joy doesn't know who he is. $600 million in just money, cash prizes, is what he's given away this year, which is crazy. Huh. In that interview, they ask him how the taxes work, and he's like, "It's rough. It's really rough because the way he does it is he gives it as a gift."
Sure.
Because he doesn't want them to have to pay the taxes. Yeah. And he's like, well, if you give it to them over $10,000, either they pay the taxes or I pay the taxes on it. And he's like, it's really hard for them. So how much is it a gift if I give them $50,000?
Exactly.
And then they have to go
that was always my biggest gripe about game shows. It's like, you won this, new car, but you can't keep it because you can't afford the taxes on it.
And then you have to go through the tax headache of hiring someone to figure that out. So he takes all that brunt. And I notice a lot of his free giveaways, he's randomly giving it, all stays under the 10,000 mark. Yeah. And that's because it's a gift to family. No one's paying taxes. It's just easier. You could just Venmo or, PayPal $10,000 and not worry about it. But God, I don't know what his accountant's getting paid.
Right.
Just to give away $600 million.
I mean, I would have a whole team, not just one person.
Right. And he just bought a huge warehouse because he said as he's gotten bigger, it's hard to do multiple videos that take multiple days of filming. If you only have one facility,
sure,
you can't do that.
Yeah.
And then if it takes multiple days, he wants to put out at least a video a week. You can't run that, so you need multiple spaces. And if it has to be indoor, your whole space is gone.
Right.
Because if it's a last to leave the circle challenge, which he's done a few times, it could be 3 days. And if you're outside, can't have your contestants stand in the rain.
Right.
I think the last one he did, I watched last night while I ate dinner, was last to take your hand off the Lamborghini wins it at 50 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And everyone that failed got iPads or cash or TVs. Right. If you fail, you still get something. Huh. And some of his videos are sponsored. Yeah. I like his sponsorships because.
Do they run that like radio shows do, where you get a bathroom break and all that kind of stuff?
So in some of them, yes, and some no. Yeah. This one, they ripped the windshield wiper off the car. Just ripped it right off, and they're like, if you're holding this, you can go to the bathroom. But the ones he does with his friends or family, they're they just go in a bottle, or you can't. But I think with random people, you start getting into weird legality. Then it's kind of holding them against their will, right? And you don't want to be sued. So.
Well, I mean, they don't have to stay there. You
That's the gray area with law. You don't have to. So.
Right.
Yeah. Those videos are cool to watch, giveaways or challenges. I'm going to be really excited to watch like a real life Squid Game, and I think they're using paintball guns.
Oh, come on.
You wanted to kill people?
Yeah, real Squid Game. Come on.
So even paintball guns will be interesting.
Yeah.
And just to see they're doing everything, like all the challenges for real, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I think they're even doing the red blue challenge, so I wonder if he's going to have videos leading up to like random people on the street, you know, trying that game to get in. But it would be crazy to compete in a Squid Game.
Right?
Because I could do all the challenges, but then again, that's not the whole game.
Well, I mean, that's the point of the games are simple enough because children do them.
Oh, that was weird.
What?
We blacked out completely.
Was that it? Did we get cut off again?
I don't think we're cut off. We're still streaming, but we went full red and the whole screen blacked out, but the camera's on.
Interesting.
Let me check our stream.
Oh, yeah, it froze.
Oh, we still frozen?
Yeah. Oh,
Wait,
nope, there it goes.
We're back.
Wait, what? It's like chugging.
So that was our blackout. We're coming back to good because I'm fully good now.
I think maybe your computer is giving up there.
My CPU usage is only 60%, even when we went full blackout. I don't know if that was a dip.
Yeah, it's like super, super choppy. I can't hear it, obviously. So.
I think our audio is fine because that's never dropped out in any of the videos I've watched.
Yeah.
But
oh, there's the blackout. Finally. Oh, and then it came back.
So it was chugging.
All right. Well, then. we should. Where are we at right now? We should probably wrap it up.
We're an hour. Yeah, we'll wrap it up. But let me finish this.
Sure.
Then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
And then we can discuss what we do to better the podcast.
Yeah.
I think because you said all the challenges are easy enough. I think it's the other people that could throw a wrench in your plan, which is what would be really interesting.
That's how like Survivor works. You know, you're not just playing the game; you're playing people. And
with Squid Game, with it, forget how many people he's going to have, close to whatever was in the video. You're going to have a lot of maybe someone trips in front of you during the what is
red light, green light.
Yeah, red light, green light, and then you're screwed, or you fall.
Yep.
The glass one, they're doing the glass one. That's a rough one.
Yeah.
And I wonder,
are they planning on using like real glass?
He doesn't want to give out too many details because obviously that's, if everyone knows how it goes, then you're not going to tune in.
If someone gets lacerated, that's not going to be good.
So I wonder if you would just, if I were to do it, it would be on a bridge, you know, or a platform, and you'd be strapped into the the bungee, and then you would just use breakaway glass or some kind of acrylic. You know, that way it's solid.
Hardest part about that though is literally like making them look exactly the same.
Exactly the same, and I think a lot of that could be done with lighting in person. So on screen you might not get them to look perfect, but if you did the lighting to who's standing there, how they're looking at it,
right,
you could probably get it really close. Same with diamonds versus lab diamonds. Unless you're under microscopes, it can be very hard to tell.
Right.
So the thing I wonder is how you do that, because everyone knows how the numbers are picked.
Right.
And everyone knows how the shapes are picked.
Yeah.
So obviously no one's going to pick.
You'd have to randomize
an umbrella. Yeah, so you're going to have to. It won't be exactly replica, because if you knew how to pick the number or the shape, because that was the shape that screwed everyone.
Right.
And if you know what challenge is coming, you're not going to pick the wrong shaping and pick circle.
Yeah, there was a few of those where it's your personal choice determines your odds. So, I mean, I would think that I would hope they figure out some creative way to do that, where it's not just relying completely on randomization.
So that
the
number could be, you could randomize how the numbers are, and that's still personal choice on what number you want.
Sure.
The shape one's hard unless you did color.
Mm-hmm.
So you could give each shape a color, not tell them what, and they would still know what they have to do, but based on your personal choice of color.
Mm-hmm.
The partner one was weird in that game. Spoiler alert.
I'm sure everyone's watched it. Everyone in the world.
I watched it before people were talking about it. It literally just came up and was like, "Do you want to watch this?" Mm-hmm. And I clicked it, and it was
like, "What's this all about?"
And it was dubbed, and I was like, "I don't want to watch." So I turned it off. Watched something else, and then I watched TV while I work. Mm-hmm. So then it came on the recommendation after whatever I just watched, and I was like, I'll let it play through, and then it hooked me. It was good. So I get why America's all about it.
Yeah.
I think it went a little viral. There's probably a lot of people watching it that don't care about it.
Right.
Which
I don't want to be left out.
Exactly.
It's like, I think this thing sucks, but You gotta be able to know what I'm talking about.
Did you watch it in English?
I did both.
You've watched it twice.
Yes. So in English and in Korean. So.
I watched it in English dubbed with subtitles.
Yeah.
So the subtitles are the Korean subtitles.
Yes. Right.
So a little different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was reading what was actually said versus what was dubbed. So I kind of got, I didn't watch them both, but I got the experience of what they wanted the dialogue to be like versus not. The English dub was pretty good.
Yeah.
You didn't like it?
I think it's hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I think that like that's the hardest part about like dubbed content is because like especially with stuff that's like, you know, highly emotional like that, like matching that emotion, you know, in a studio, you know, as in dubbed, it never really syncs up, you know, perfectly.
It's true. I feel that.
Yeah. So it's yeah, so you can tell, like you're watching it and you're like something's off.
But
like,
I think the voice actors did pretty good though. So, I've seen a lot of English dub that's really
at least
bad.
they made the effort. That's the thing. That's what I appreciate. Is that the effort was made. So that I definitely appreciate. But
I think they chose the right actors.
It's one of those things. It's like, you know, it is you know, one of those innate things where you can tell like if people aren't, you know, genuine. So it feels like it feels like a lie. You know, that you can like you're detecting a lie.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it feels like. So
I liked the actors they chose because I feel like I've seen other dub things where they whitewash it or US wash it, where it's like you're watching a German dub show and they're using just like a guy they got in California, and it's like this doesn't like
right.
The voice and tone doesn't match at all.
Right.
The character you're playing.
Yeah.
So I think they did as good as they could.
Right.
I've
the voice acting industry has come a long way.
Have you
long way from
watched Ringo, the animated movie?
What's that?
Ringo.
Rango?
Is it Rango?
Yeah, with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, did you watch it?
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen the behind the scenes where they act out everything, and that's how voice acting. So that movie, does it line up good?
It's really well done.
I figure it would be really good because Johnny Depp is fully acting it. Even the there's people that have like they're using like antennas and stuff on their head, like they're really into the characters they're playing.
It's funny because that movie didn't really do as well, and I think it's honestly because of, you know, just setting and character design really kind of hurt it for being you know, appealing to children. But it is really well done. Like it's a really good movie. So
okay,
yeah,
I'll never watch it. All right, we can end this, I guess. Tune in on Friday where we'll go over some more old news where we talk about Alec Baldwin killing someone.
Oh yeah, that's coming Friday. We'll be way behind.
Yeah, that's
Friday.
Good. I like being behind.
We'll have more information by then.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we'll talk about the Gabby potato case.
Oh, the potato case. It's terrible.
It is terrible. That guy's a pussy.
Well,
killed himself after doing. Come on.
Did he kill himself or get it taken out?
We can go into conspiracies later.
All right.
Either he killed himself or his dad killed him. That's what I got going. But we'll talk about that.
Coming Friday. Be there.
Yeah, and if you're watching this on our Twitch, go to our YouTube channel.
That's right.
And leave a comment.
Yep.
And I don't know, we'll shout you out.
As long as it's not a spam comment, because I will delete those.
Yes.
But
just say something so we know that you've watched this one. Yeah. We'll do something special for anyone that watches this one and tunes in on Friday. I don't know what we'll do yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do something.
A special something? Yeah, we can do that.
Because right now we've had no users in the chat.
Right.
So if someone's made it this far to the end of a podcast that they're watching a recorded version, whether you're watching it on YouTube, go ahead and comment, or if you're on Twitch, go to the YouTube and comment because they're all on there. We'll do something special.
Yeah.
If you do it on Friday.
If you're the champ. Yep.
I don't know what we'll do, but yeah, we can do something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll set something up.